I'm Heather Seaman.
What is the legacy of a private member's bill that receives widespread support from Canadians but dies on the floor of the House of Commons? Recently, we heard from MP John McKay talking about harmony and religion with Heather Seaman. Well, this week, I caught up with McKay to talk about his private member's bill, which sought to harmonize the relations between big business, government, the environment, society, and where the conversation goes from there.
Man, this thing's heavy. Just a couple of days before the final vote on his private member's bill, Liberal MP John McKay arrives at Parliament with some of his 500,000 postcards. They were sent by Canadians in support of Bill C-300. Some say the level of support is unprecedented, especially because Bill C-300 is not about health care or education, or about any homegrown Canadian programs. It concerns the corporate responsibility of Canadian mining companies operating abroad. The legislation was introduced in February of 2009.
I would describe modest initiative, and it involves a process whereby Canadian mining companies who are accused of egregious corporate social responsibility issues can come before a minister and have a hearing and a decision made.
And if any of these companies were found to be out of step with proper corporate responsibility standards,
then they would be subject to a sanction regime, which would include a withdrawal of taxpayer money through EDC, withdrawal of pension money through Canada Pension Plan, and a withdrawal of extraordinary consular services abroad.
McKay first came across the idea after he won the private member's bill lottery for the Liberal Party. He was subsequently approached by a former member of his Parliament Hill staff, who had started working for a Catholic NGO, Development and Peace.
And I thought this was a very interesting, and John McKay also thought that this was something to work on, and so I think that's how it got started. Other people as well that were trying to get John McKay on this file.
And certainly Development and Peace led the charge with political support, but since then Amnesty signed on, and Mennonite Central Committee, and the Christian Reform, and World Vision, and Evangelical Fellowship. It's huge.
McKay has been able to shore up support for this bill one vote at a time. The NDP's Paul Dewar is one MP who is voting in favor.
Follow the same rules, standards that they follow here. And I just think what John has done here is brought forward a piece of legislation that I think a lot of people can get behind.
Le Bloc québécois a toujours été en faveur d'un...
Bloc MP Joanne Deschamps says her party has always been in favor of legislation like this, and adds taxpayers should be aware of how their money is being spent abroad. Recently, McKay had a strong showing of support when he displayed boxes with nearly 500,000 of those petition postcards on Parliament Hill. Canadian mining companies currently make up 60% of the world's mining programs. They operate in some countries where human rights and environmental standards are often not established as they are here in North America. Those who support Bill C-300 say it would have created incentives for Canadian firms abroad to be environmentally and socially responsible, monitored activities of Canadian firms in developing countries, established clear legal norms to ensure accountability to environmental standards, human rights standards, and Canadian laws, and help Canadian corporations abroad to become leaders in corporate social responsibility. Dr. Penelope Simons is a law professor at the University of Ottawa. She believes Canadians will continue to push for corporate responsibility abroad.
And I think having a bill that says that Canada stands behind its own companies and what they're doing, and we stand behind responsible business, responsible conduct abroad, will actually help the reputation of companies.
Although the bill was defeated in the House with a vote of 140 to 134, McKay believes it's just the beginning of a nationwide conversation on Canadian corporate responsibility.
The wind does go out of the sail, if you will, a bit. But this bill has developed so much interest and so much momentum that I don't think the people of Canada are going to let this die.